Hello students, this is Anjana from Computer Science Department. In this class, we are going to discuss about counters, synchronous counters and other counters. Now let us see about the term counter. So here a counter is a sequential circuit or a digital circuit. Here it is used for counting the pulses, which is we can say it as a counter. So here a counter is an application uh, of the flip-flops, and it is a group of flip-flops with a clock signal applied. So here we are having two types of counters. First one is synchronous counters and another one is asynchronous counters. So now let us see about the what is the task that is done by the counter. See, whenever we are going to use a counter in a digital circuit, here just basically it is basically used for counting the pulses. So we can say it as a, so it is known as a counter. So so it is the widest application of the flip flops. It is also a group of flip flops with a clock signal applied. So the counters are of two types. First one is asynchronous counters, second one is synchronous counters. We can say that asynchronous counters as a ripple counters. So the first flip flop, what are the asynchronous, now let us see what are the asynchronous counters. Asynchronous counters are the first flip flop which is clocked by the external clock pulse, and then is successive flip flop clocked by the q or q naught output of the previous flip flop. So see, if it is asynchronous flip flop, it is clocked by the external clock pulse, and then each successive flip flop is clocked by q or q naught. So the output of the previous flip flop is considered as a q or q naught. Now let us see about the synchronous counters. Synchronous counters are also the all memory elements are simultaneously triggered by the same clock. So whenever we can say it as a synchronous counters means when all the memory elements, what are the memory elements that we are going to use here? When all that elements are simultaneously triggered by the same clock, then that synchronous counters are faster than the asynchronous counter. Why? Because in synchronous counters all the flip flops are clocked simultaneously. So if you have observed this one, so here the number of flip flops that we are going to determine the count limit is the number of states. So we can define that number of states by using a formula called 2 power number of flip flops. If you want to find out the number of states, then by using this formula we can obtain the number of states, that is 2 power number of flip flops. That is, what are the number of flip flops? Suppose if you are going to use two number of flip flops in that circuit, the number of states is 2 power 2, that is 4. Okay. So here the number of states that used is called as a modulus. For example, a modulus 12 counter, that is mod 12, would count from 0 to 11 and would require the 4 flip flops, that is 2 power 4, that is 16. So if it is a mod 12, it is going to use 2 flip flops. So 4 flip flops, that is 2 power number of flip flops, that is 2 power 4. Obviously the count 2 power 4 represents 16. So it is the number of states that we are going to use here. Okay. So if you have observed this modulus counter, the 2-bit triple counter is also known as a modulus 4 counter, and the 3-bit triple counter is also called as a modulus 8 counter. Here the general n-bit triple counter is also called as a modulo n counter. So where the modulo number, that is 2 power n. So here we are having three types of modulus, that is 2-bit up or down, that is mod 4. 2-bit up or down means 2 power 2, that is 4. And 3-bit up or down means 2 power 3, that is 8, that is modulus 8. And next one 2-bit 4-bit up or down, that is 2 power 4, that is 16. So these are the modulus operations that we are going to operate on this particular modulus counter. So here when we consider this modulus 2-bit ripple counter, here uh, what are the ripple counter it is, based upon the ripple counter we will get the modulus operation. If it is a 2-bit ripple counter, that is 2 power 2, so it will become 2 power 2 means 4, so it will become modulus 4. If it is a 3-bit ripple counter, if it is a 3-bit ripple counter, it will become 2 power 3, that is modulus 8. And next, if it is a 4-bit ripple counter, it will become 2 power 4, then it is modulus 16. 2 power 4, that is modulus 16. Okay. So if you have observed this asynchronous or ripple counters, the 2-bit asynchronous ripple counter is shown below. In the next slide we are going to discuss that one. So here the external clock is whatever the external clock that is connected to the clock input of the first flip-flop only. So FF0 changes the state at the falling the edge of the each clock pulse, and here but FF1 changes only when the triggered by falling the edge of the Q output of FF0, because the inherent propagation delay through the flip-flop, the transition of the input, what are the transition that we are going to apply at the input clock pulse and the transition of the Q, the output of the FF0 can never occur at the it will not be occur exactly at the same time. Why? Because there are so many flip-flops that can't be triggered simultaneously, producing an asynchronous operation. So here a 2-bit asynchronous counter, whatever the 2-bit asynchronous counter, that is in next slide we are going to discuss. But here whatever the external clock that we are going to connected to the clock input of the first flip-flop, so FF0 changes the state at the falling edge of the each clock pulse, but FF1 changes only when the triggered by the falling edge of the Q output of FF0, because of the inherent propagation delay. Only because of the inherent propagation delay through a flip-flop, the transition of the input clock pulse and a transition of the Q output of the FF0 can never, it will not exactly at the same time. Why? Because the flip-flop cannot be triggered simultaneously, producing an asynchronous operation. Okay, now let us see the asynchronous or a ripple counter, asynchronous counter or a ripple counter. So if you have observed this ripple counter, this is the clock, this is the JK flip-flop that JK flip-flop that we have used here. This is the clock that we have attached to that flip-flop. This is the high signal and this is also the high signal. These two are connected in serial. So the output will become here Q0 and Q1. This is the clock signal. It does not having any it is stable. Why? Because it is a clock signal. And if it is a Q naught, if it is in the 0th state, it is in the down state, and if it is in 1, it will be in the up state. Okay, again it will be 0 in the down state and again it will be 1 in the up state, just like that. And next here Q1, sometimes it will become both the states will become 0 and it will be in the down state. Why? Because you have to represent the graph like that. And next one at 2 and 3, the value will becomes 1. So it will be in the high stage at 0. Again it will become 0. Why? Because if we are going to use the clock here, then if it is a 0th signal, then it will become up. If it is 0, then it will be in the down state. Okay. This image represents the 2-bit asynchronous ripple counter. Uh, I have already explained it to you. It is a 2-bit ripple counter. This is a clock signal. This is a JK flip-flop. This is JK flip-flop, and these are the outputs Q and Q bar. And finally, from these two the output that we are going to get is Q0 and Q1. So we have already discussed based upon the clock, and this one will get the output. This is the output that we are going to that it has generated. So we can see it as a 2-bit asynchronous ripple counter. Now let us see about the asynchronous decade counters. The binary counters previously introduced have to the power n states, but counters with state less than this number also possible. But whatever the counters that I have designed, they have to do the number of states as their sequence. But these which are called as a truncated sequences. Okay, the sequence which are having number of states, we can say that one as a truncated sequence. But here what are the sequences that we are going to use here, that is based upon the clock that are going to produce here. So based upon these signals, the output will become generated. So but the counters with states less than the number of possible predicates is this one. So if they have designed to have the number of states and the sequences, so which are we can say as which are called as a truncated sequences. So these sequences are achieved by forcing the counter to recycle before going through all the normal states. So a common modulus, what are the common modulus that we are going to apply here is the common modulus for the counters with the truncated sequences is a 10. So here a counter with 10 states in that sequence is called as decade counter. So whenever in 10 states it is the counter is going to use it, then we can say it as a decade counter. Okay, so here if you have observed this one, these sequences are achieved by forcing the counter to recycle before going to the counter shift register. So first of all it has to check the signal in the JK flip flop. If it has said that okay, JK flip flop has done perfectly, but inside if it is having some bugs just like that, if some it is erased, it will be shown in, not will be shown immediately, but definitely it will be shown afterwards. So if we have keep fear in front of us that we this particular asynchronous ripple counter should not do like that, just like that, they have to perform the operations there. Okay, so here if you have observed this asynchronous decade counters, um, this is the JK flip-flop that it is using here. This is and this is the clock signal here. Here it is taking the high input. Here this is the Q0 is output. It is again another input. Q1, Q2, and Q3. So this is about the asynchronous decade counters. So if it is a binary counter, it is previously introduced and have been to the purest end states. So by using this, we can say that the circuit, what are the circuit that we are explaining below is the implementation of the decade counter. If it is the simply implementation, what she is going to perform, we can say it as a implementation. Okay. So if you have observed this one, if once the counter counts from 1 to 10, that is in binary the value of 10 is represented as 1010. uh, if the counter counts to 10, then the flip-flops now let us see how the flip-flops are being declared. Notice that only Q1 and Q3 used to decode the count of tens. and again the called decoding, and as none of the other states. So here it is having both Q1 and Q3 both are high at a time. Both at a time they both are high. So by using this can say that the sequence of the by using this we can say that the sequence of the decade counter is also known as shown in the table below. See, if the clock if you have written the clock pulse from 0 to 9, the first output will become 0 0 0 0, and next it will become 0 0 0 1, and next one becomes 0 0 1 0, and next one 0 0 0 1 1 1, and next one is 1 0 0, and next one is 1 0 0 1. So if you have observed this binary sequence of the decade counter, this is the clock pulse here that is going to generate here. And again, if you have observed all these types of clock signals, so if it is in the clock pulse 0, obviously the output will become 0. So while doing it has to keep it very carefully, and it is not a uh, easy thing to perform. So if it is a ripple shift counter, now let us see how it is going to be designed. So if you have seen for the synchronous up down counters, the circuit below is a 3-bit up down counter. If it counts up and down depending upon the status of the if whatever the status that it is going to up and down, then the when the up input is 1, then the Q of APO, then it is a graph with, so that from this we can similarly this Q from this we can say that um, here the FF0 and FF1, and here the clock input of FF1, and similarly the Q of FF1 will be gated through the NAND network. So from this you can say that it is the clock input of FF2 is nice when compared with the previous one. So then the counter will be count up. So if the control input up is 0 and down is 1, then the integrated counters will be FF1. So it is FF1 in the gated integer clock input of FF1. So if it is the greatest integer of the gated of the clock FF1, that is flip flop 1 and flip flop 0 and flip flop 2. It is initially reset, obviously it is initially reset to 0, and next one it is somewhat earlier than the counter that will be passed through the following sequence inputs are the. So this is the flip flop 0 and 1 and 2. Here at the flip flop 0 it is 0 0 0 and 1 1 1, and 0 1 1 1 0 1 and 1 0 0, and here and again flip flop 2, we are having the values 0 1 1, 0 1 0 and 0 0 1. So till up to here we have discussed this topic, and in the next class we will continue this topic.